It feels peculiar, doesn't it? To dissect a disappointment with the precision of a surgeon. Most people simply feel unhappy and move on. But I find solace, a strange sort of control, in understanding precisely why something failed to meet even the most basic of expectations. It is a habit, you see, cultivated during long, gray winters in a land where everything felt provisional. A land where one learned to examine every detail, to anticipate every flaw, because to be surprised by misfortune was to be utterly undone. It is a habit I have carried with me, like a well-worn shawl, even to sun-drenched places like Lagos. And oh, Lagos, a city brimming with potential, a canvas of azure skies and golden shores. One expects, nay, demands, a certain level of refinement when one chooses a destination. And so, I, with my inherited predisposition for the discerning, selected the Carvi Beach Hotel. Or, as it should more accurately be termed, the Carvi Beach Hotel, a masterclass in how to dismantle a vacation, one excruciating detail at a time. It began, of course, with the promise. A junior suite, the website proclaimed, their best room. A lavish description of comfort and sophistication, accompanied by photographs that appeared to have been filtered through a dream. I perhaps foolishly believed it. My family, you see, has always appreciated the finer things. My grandmother, a woman who could identify the thread count of linen at 50 paces, instilled in me a reverence for quality. A belief that if one is to spend one's hard-earned money, in my case, allocated money deserves commensurate value. But upon arrival, the reality descended like a damp fog. The room was diminutive. A polite word for tiny, I suppose. A shoebox masquerading as a suite. The aesthetic was tired. A palette of faded beige and dusty rose, reminiscent of a provincial hospital waiting room. It lacked the vibrancy one expects from a seaside location. It felt as though it had not been refreshed since, perhaps the 1980s. It smelled faintly of disappointment, and something else, a lingering, vaguely chemical scent that I later identified as bleach. They were attempting to mask something, you see. They were attempting to hide the decay. And then the heat. Oh, the heat. It was the kind of heat that presses down on you, stealing your breath, turning your skin slick with perspiration. Portugal in August, one anticipates warmth, naturally. But this was oppressive. And when I inquired about the air conditioning in the bedroom, the actual sleeping area, I was met with a shrug and an explanation. A tiny unit, they informed me, resided in the sitting area, separated from the bedroom by a wall. A wall. Can you imagine? A wall obstructing the flow of cool air, rendering the entire system utterly pointless. It felt in that moment a deliberate act of unkindness, a calculated attempt to extract maximum revenue for minimum effort. I requested a resolution. A different room, perhaps, a functional air conditioner. A simple acknowledgement that my comfort mattered. I was promised a refund, a gesture of goodwill, I presumed. But then came the game, the infuriating, labyrinthine game of blame. The hotel, with its practiced air of indifference, pointed fingers at Agoda, the booking platform. Agoda, in turn, responded with a robotic email, deflecting responsibility with the precision of a seasoned bureaucrat. Back and forth it went, a tedious dance of denial and obfuscation, leaving me stranded, quite literally, in the street. There I stood, at 35 degrees Celsius, surrounded by my luggage, feeling rather like a character in a particularly bleak existential drama. I was, quite frankly, incandescent with fury. The deliberate indifference, the casual disregard for my well-being, it was an outrage. It felt like a scam, a predatory practice designed to exploit unsuspecting tourists. One might think that would be the nadir, the lowest point. But alas, no, it was merely the
ending act in a tragedy of errors. The Alessandra Lounge Bar. It sounds rather charming, doesn't it? A place to sip a cool drink, to bask in the Mediterranean sunshine. But the lady who worked there, a woman named Ione, donned with a hat and glasses, as if to emphasize her...
In the tranquil embrace of the Mediterranean, the Carvi Beach Hotel stands as a beacon of relaxation. But as we cast our gaze beyond its welcoming doors, a curious pattern emerges among the local businesses. It's as if a shroud of indifference drapes over the nearby establishments, casting a pall on the expectations of unsuspecting travelers seeking refuge in the area's amenities. The Oasis Mall, touted as a hub of commerce and leisure, falls short of its name, leaving a trail of disenchantment. Patrons lament over the overpriced beverages that taste of dishonesty rather than the rich flavors one would anticipate. The mall, rather than being a lush respite, seems more akin to a labyrinth with its cold, sterile ambience, where even the simple pleasure of feeding stray cats is overshadowed by the pervasive sense of discontent. Venturing a stone's throw away, the Albergo Sayonara greets guests with a frosty welcome, as if the warmth of hospitality has been lost in the chilly heights of its lofty location. The staff, as some reviews suggest, appear to be frozen in a state of apathy, leaving guests to shiver in the neglect rather than bask in the comfort they've paid for. The spa, a sanctuary of rejuvenation in theory, instead offers waters that are less than inviting, and staff who seem to have forgotten the art of service. At Hakkasan Bodrum, the stage is set for a culinary symphony, but the performance is marred by discordant notes. The sommelier's silence speaks volumes, and the kitchen's offerings are whispered to be disappointingly average. The promise of a world-class dining experience dissolves into a memory of unmet expectations, with the only solace found in the candid conversation with Ozzy, the bartender who seems to be the sole keeper of the establishment's forgotten warmth. The Kadip cocktail bar, with its alluring garden setting, seems like a haven for connoisseurs of the mixed libation. Yet, the charm of its appearance is lost in the shadow of its aloofness. The cocktails, as elusive as the hospitality they accompany, leave patrons pondering the mysteries of mixology and the enigma of service that seems to evaporate as quickly as the spirits in their glasses. As a travel analyst, I find myself perturbed by these tales of woe. The promise of a perfect experience, a retreat from the mundane, is what travelers yearn for, and yet, it seems to slip through the fingers like the fine sands of Bodrum's beaches. The businesses near Carvi Beach Hotel, in their current state, appear to be a series of missed opportunities, a collection of might-have-beens that leave a sour taste, much like the overpriced cappuccino that started this odyssey of disillusionment. For those who seek solace in the arms of perfection, I must extend a cautionary note. The area surrounding the Carvi Beach Hotel, while picturesque, may not align with the idealistic visions that dance in the minds of hopeful wanderers. It is a realm where the whims of expectation are often met with the cold hands of reality. However, let us not lose ourselves in the somber tones of critique. Instead, let us view this as a challenge, an invitation to seek out those hidden gems that lie beyond the well-trodden paths. For in every destination there are stories yet to be told, experiences yet to be savored, and perhaps in the winding streets and secret corners near the Carvi Beach Hotel, there lies a treasure waiting just for you. In closing, travelers, I urge you to tread with cautious optimism. Seek reviews, ask the locals, and perhaps, with a dash of luck and a sprinkle of intuition, you may uncover the true charm that this region has to offer, away from the pitfalls that lurk in the shadows of indifference. Bon voyage, and may your adventures be ever filled with joy and discovery.